Hello friends, this is Sayukta. Hope all of you are doing fine. Today we are going to be learning a Zentangle original pattern called Well. Yes, Well is a pattern again inspired by an artifact seen in a museum close to Rick and Maria's house. And the pattern looks somewhat like a flower also, but it is a grid based pattern and which is open to many tangulations. We'll see how we can play around with this pattern, but first we'll learn the basic of the pattern well, right? So let us see how to draw the basic pattern. I'm going to be drawing here a simple square grid, right? So this is the grid that I have drawn, right? And then I'm going to draw orbs inside each of these squares like this, right? And then I'm going to move clockwise and retrace a part of this orb and draw a line from this orb to all the four corners turn by turn. So since I'm moving in this direction, I'm saying I'm moving clockwise. Why I'm retracing a part of this orb? So that I get this slight curve that will not be there if you try to draw something like this, right? So I'm retracing a part of this orb and then drawing the second line starting from the curve to the corner. Similarly the third and similarly the fourth, right? Again this orb moving clockwise, again retracing a part of the orb, moving clockwise and drawing lines starting from the orb to all the four corners. Again this orb starting clockwise, right, and doing the same exercise. And I told you, as you retrace the orb, you get a slight curve in the line that you are drawing towards the corner, right? So this is the basic grid of the pattern well. Now what do is we join and make a petal kind of shape from each of these corners like this, right? So do this exercise for all the four, drawing this petal kind of shape from these four corners like this, right? And the final thing is I am now going to add a mild aura, not starting from one end to the other end, but somewhere in between like this, right? Something like this. You must now be recognizing that you must have seen a flower like this, white and yellow, something like the petals are white and it is, I don't know what is the name of that flower, but it is yellowish from the center and white petals, right? If you're not comfortable coming backwards, you can also start like this, right? Do something like this. But the point to note is I am not going all the way up, right? I am going somewhat 3/4 of the distance, something like this, right? Like this, like this, like this. So this is the pattern well, right? Now you can see that we have created some empty spaces. You can simply, I'll just pick up my 08, I think, right? Yeah, so you can either simply color this space, just ink it, looks nice, bold inked portions, the petals and the flower really pops up when you ink all the four sides, right? Or what you can do is just add straight lines. Again, it is entirely up to you what you want to do. Add auras like this, or just add one aura and add something else inside, something like this. Tipple comes very handy, excellent filler, right? So the possibilities are unlimited. but the basic pattern wells is like this. Now why do we say that wells is a pattern open to many tangulations? Because this grid allows us to play around, right? The original wells that I have drawn here, I have drawn all the lines emanating from the orbs clockwise, right? Now let's see what happens if we draw it anti-clockwise, which means now I'll be moving in this direction, right? So moving backwards and going anti-clockwise, right? For all the 4 orbs. Again retracing a part of the orb and then connecting it to the corner. Moving anti-clockwise in all the 4 orbs. All the 4 sections, right? Can you see that? We have created a different grid. Now this itself looks a pattern, right? It is up to you. If you want to draw the petal shades again, you can add the petal shapes, right? Again like this, like this. This is the pattern wells. Or you can leave the grid as it is also, and when you shade it you will realize that you have created a pattern by varying the grid itself, right? A third possibility is again playing with the grid, alternating clockwise and anti-clockwise movement, right? So if I have 4 orbs here, so once I start clockwise, right, and then I go anti-clockwise in the second one, like this, right? Again, if you want to complete this half circle, you have to come like this, right? So I'm going anti-clockwise here and again going clockwise here, right? Alternating clockwise, anti-clockwise, anti-clockwise and clockwise, right? So can you see here, you have created one more grid, and if you shade it, this itself will look a beautiful pattern. Why do I say that? Just have a look. I am just adding some straight lines to it instead of petals, which you can, since it is the grid of the pattern wells. But just in case I don't want to add it, and just use the grid as a reticula and add some other fragment inside it, I can do that, right? So each of these grid variations can act as a reticula, and you can fill up the spaces with a fragment, like I am doing here, right? And then again move your sheet like this. Oh, moving the sheet is so difficult here. It's a bigger sheet, so I move out of focus, right? So you can see here how beautiful it looks, right? What else? Just aura the line like this, right? This line is going like this, just aura it. This line is coming like this, just aura it, right? This line is coming like this, just aura the line. Can you see that? What a beautiful variation have we created? Again, the leaf shape is always available, right? The leaf shape is always available. This is the original wells, right? Again, if you don't want to do that, just aura, add some weight at the end of the line, and just do that exercise with 2 of the sections. Right? So you can see here how beautiful variations are we creating. Can you see that? Yeah. The pattern wells is an amazing pattern because it gives us a fantastic grid to play around with, right? So let us have a look. Here I have introduced some shading here, right? So this is the first grid where I have drawn all the sections clockwise, right? And once you shade it, just like Huggins, right? Because these sections give us the feeling of things going under and over. So I have just shaded it simply like Huggins wherever they seem to be going under. So two sides are shaded inside and two sides are shaded outside, right? If this section, if you consider one such section, right, two sides are shaded inside and two sides are shaded outside. To be more precise, the smaller sides are shaded in the inside and the longer sides are shaded in the outside, each of these sections, and this is how it looks. See the second one. In this, all the sections have been drawn anti-clockwise, right? And this is the look after shading. See this one. Alternating clockwise, anti-clockwise and clockwise. See the look after shading. And this is the original wells. Again, clockwise, anti-clockwise and clockwise. You can alternate, right? And this is how it will look. Again, we have not really played around with these sections that are created in between wells, right? These also create, opportunity for tangulations. Another thing to worth noting is, this is the pattern Stella, right? And not as Zentangle original, but somehow derived from the pattern wells. How did I draw this? Very simple. I just drew a square. I divided it into sections like this, and then I drew an orb in each of these sections, right? And then I started connecting these orbs clockwise and anti-clockwise, and I got this pattern. Looks like a flower, isn't it? So I think I am going alternating clockwise and anti-clockwise. That you can make out once you start drawing the pattern. Again, right? So this is the way I drew the pattern. Again, this tangle is also called flip flap, but I have used the grid as in wells, and then I have, instead of drawing the petals, I have just aura through those lines. Again, you can also draw wells with three sides, right? In a triangle, same, I am auraing, just retracing the orb and joined it with three sides of the triangle, and then again draw the petal shapes, and you get the wells inside a triangle. This is a pattern called Hornchen. Again, the same wells based grid, but I have drawn auras instead of petals, right? The fourth and the most lovely tangulation of wells is called well, which we will also learn in one of our sessions. It is nothing but well inside well inside well. So we start with a big well on a tile, and then we keep adding well inside each of the sections created by adding well inside the bigger well. Yeah, must be sounding like a tongue twister, but yeah, that's what we do in well. We create wells within wells within wells. So now that we have learned how to draw the pattern well, let us draw two simple tiles today to understand the basics, right? So in front of me is again two regular 3.5 inch Zentangle tiles, right? So I'm going to be using the pattern wells, right? And draw two simple, not much tangulations involved here. So starting with a simple orb here, an orb inside it, left a highlight and colored the rest, and then starting with these lines clockwise emanating from the center orb, right? So I have already divided my tile into 4 sections. You can say it is a string, and then I am going to add one more line, sort of orient this line but not closely orient. I have drawn it at a distance, right? Like this, right? And then you can see these 4 sections I am going to orient closely now, right? This itself is the grid of the well, and then I have created 4 sections, and then I am orienting those 4 sections closely, creating further sections, right? Again this one, right? Now what I am going to do is, again, let us give it a coffered look. Added 3 dots on each of the corners, join these dots with the corners, and then join these dots with each other. By now you know what is the coffered look. I have already used it in 3-4 tiles of mine. Added 3 dots at 3 corners, join these dots with the corners, and then joining the dots with each other, giving the coffered look, just like we have coffered ceilings. Right? And then the last one. Like this, and then like this, right? So now I have already drawn an orb, and then I am going to be connecting this orb with the corners, just like wells, right? So this is well in a triangle, so I won't be having 4 sides to it. I am just having 3. Right? Again going clockwise, rotating my tile continuously so that my hand doesn't have to move much from its comfort position. The 4th one, the last one, right? Now I'm going to add those leaf or petal kind of shapes, like this, and then these small auras not going up to the end of the line. Again these petal shapes, right? Again the 3rd one, the petal shape, right? And the last one, adding the petal shapes, adding the petal shapes, right? So we have this. I'm just going to roughly add some ink to the border. Right? So this is the outline of our first tile. This is the second tile I have. I have created some blocks here, drawn a rough square grid, if you can see it, with my pencil. I'm not planning to ink it. Just going to add orbs inside it. right? And now going to draw wells alternating clockwise and anti-clockwise. So this is clockwise movement, right? Then I am going to move anti-clockwise like this, right? Then again I am going to move clockwise, so retracing the orb is always a good idea, just in case you want to get that light curve, right? So I am going to complete this grid this way.